I think it was last Wednesday. But Friday, Lakers faced the Dallas Mavericks. I got a question for a lot of these Laker fans out here. By the way, AD got introduced, got a really nice ovation, and a lot of people were giving AD love. And there's really no reason not to give AD love. Plus, Anthony Davis left on terms where the Lakers got Luka Doncic, so that makes Laker fans love AD even more. Before AD became a Laker, or actually, no. Lakers trade for Anthony Davis, and they give up all these young players, draft swaps, everything else. Anthony Davis comes to the Lakers. The moment AD became a Laker, I want you guys to go back and think what your expectations were when Anthony Davis became a Laker to the moment he got traded as a Laker. Did Anthony Davis live up to your expectations as a Los Angeles Laker? Okay. So take everything that he did totality. And I'm curious to know if people out there say, oh, AD definitely lived up to the expectations. He was exactly what I thought. Or if people are going to say he surpassed them because he won an NBA championship with the Lakers. Or they're going to say, no, I had expectations for Anthony Davis and he didn't meet those expectations. Tell you guys where I'm at. I'll tell you guys what my expectations were before AD became a Laker. Or when he became a Laker and then by the time he left. My expectations for Anthony Davis, I really genuinely thought this. I thought he was, the present and the future. I thought he was going to be the best team the best player on the Lakers. Probably from, not necessarily the moment he got here. Obviously LeBron just kept being the best player. But I definitely thought there was going to come a time where the era of Anthony Davis on the Lakers without LeBron James would come, and AD would be one of the top 5 players in the league and would eventually carry the Lakers franchise with, obviously with a supporting cast and another star. But I thought the keys were going to be handed from LeBron to Anthony Davis. Definitely thought the Lakers would win a championship with Anthony Davis, minimum. I did. When you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, you obviously got an opportunity to win it all. I thought overall for Anthony Davis, I thought he was a really, really good player. And I thought he's going to be a major chapter of a Lakers championship run, which he was. But I don't think he met my expectations. I think my expectations were so high for Anthony Davis that other than him competing for multiple championships, grabbing the keys from LeBron James and saying, this is my team, this is my era. And other than him leading the Lakers after LeBron retires, those were my expectations. Whether that's fair or it's not, those were my genuine expectations for Anthony Davis. I genuinely thought that's what Anthony Davis was going to be for the Lakers. Now, when the dust settles, he was one of the best two-way players for the Lakers. He was obviously a dynamic player. He also had a lot of injuries and wasn't always on the floor for the Lakers. He was a major piece, as important as LeBron in winning that NBA championship in 2020. But I'm trying to isolate what my expectations were versus what actually happened. And I don't want anybody to interpret this as me hating on Anthony Davis. I'm not hating on AD. But I did have higher expectations for Anthony Davis when he became a Laker. And this is probably the last time we're going to talk about Anthony Davis. This is it. Because the trade happened. They got Luka Doncic. AD, like I said, got a chance in the game on Friday to get introduced in the starting lineup. The crowd gave him his love and gave him his flowers. And the chapter has been over for Anthony Davis. But if I'd have told you when they traded for AD back in 2020 that he didn't end up grabbing the keys to the franchise and he didn't actually outlast LeBron on this roster. LeBron got here before Anthony Davis, and LeBron is still here after Anthony Davis left. And we know why, obviously, because the Lakers had a chance at Luka Doncic. But I did have higher expectations for AD. I did. That's just personally me. When Anthony Davis became a Laker, the hope was he would take care of the franchise. that he would compete for championships year in and year out, that even when LeBron's gone, the Lakers would still, the keys would be in the hands of Anthony Davis. That wasn't the case. He was still wildly good for the Lakers. He was still one of the best two-way players for the Lakers. He was still an NBA champion for the Lakers. But what he wasn't a top 2, top 3 player in the league. And he also wasn't a player that said, give me the damn keys. This is my franchise. That never happened with Anthony Davis as well. So I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts and your opinion. I thought this would be a good topic that we can have. And clearly I got my reasoning of how I felt. For me, he was really, really good, but did not meet my expectations. That's how high up I had Anthony Davis before he became a Laker. All right, let's see what we got here. Love AD. Can't believe how fast time flies. He was there from 2019 to 2025, helped us win a chip, but couldn't agree with you more, Slee. He just couldn't be the number one guy in the team. And maybe that's where, my expectations are off, but I think most people thought he's going to be your number one. Most people thought, yeah, this is going to be his team. Like LeBron helped orchestrate getting here, and then LeBron helped Anthony Davis get here. And then eventually it was like, LeBron's going to leave the franchise in great hands with AD. Just never happened. It just never happened. And I think the more time, went on, the more you're like, let's put it this way. Let's say Nico Harrison doesn't trade Luka to the Lakers. What are the Lakers? You got AD in and out of the lineup. You got LeBron at, churning 41. Like, I genuinely don't know what this Lakers team would have been. Let me get some more in here. AD injuries robbed of that chance to dominate. You could be right. But that's part of your story too. The fact that LeBron has been available and hasn't had these major injuries is part of his story. So just like Zion Williams' story is he can't stay healthy. There's other players out there that part of their story is their health, whether in a good way or a bad way. That's part of your story as well. I was frustrated when AD didn't want to play center. Yeah, I kind of was too, but I understood why. It's hard to be a number one when you're always hurt and playing with the GOAT at the peak of his powers. But that's the thing is LeBron wasn't at the peak of his powers. You can't be at the peak of your powers at age 37, 38, 39, 40. That's not the peak of your powers. The peak of your powers are 28 to 32. And maybe in today's NBA, because it goes longer, 28 to 35. AD's supposed to be at the peak of his powers, not LeBron. That just shows how great LeBron was. All right, let's get some more in here. I agree, Slee, but the management didn't or couldn't put a complete team around AD and LeBron. Personally, if I was AD, I would ask for a trade from Dallas. Not hating on AD, he could have gone harder in LA. Okay. I got to be honest with you. I'm actually a little surprised that people agree with me on this because the vibe I was getting on Friday night, and again, I didn't get a chance to expand on it. And I'm like, no. This is a topic in itself. We could just do it on the show. The vibe I was getting on Friday night was, oh, Al, you're just hating on AD. Nobody's hating on AD. I mean, if you really, really have expectations for a player, you're going to look at one of the best two-way players in the league who ended up winning a championship for the Lakers, and you're saying to yourself, yeah, I expected more. That's a compliment to Anthony Davis. That's not hating on AD. Let's get some more in here. I wish AD well, hope for his sake to get out of Dallas. AD was injured a lot, just like Wade in Miami. AD should have defined the era. That, my friends, is a phenomenal comment right there. This is the best way that I can describe it. When AD came to the Lakers, I thought what Giannis is today to the Bucks was going to be what Anthony Davis was going to be for the Lakers. Or what Jokic is to the Denver Nuggets, I thought AD was going to be with the Lakers. That's the best way to describe it right there. Where you thought you were getting a top 3, top 5 player in the league, and every single year they're in it. in the Western Conference because of this individual player. And it wasn't with AD. It was kind of up and down with AD. Injuries, healthy, and if I told you Giannis leaves Milwaukee, Giannis will have left Milwaukee as a finals MVP, the best player on that franchise. Jokic leaves Denver. It's like their book is already written. With AD, listen, again, AD was unbelievable with the Lakers. But God, that's such a good comment where you thought AD was going to be a Giannis to the Bucks. Yeah, this guy's going to be on the franchise for the next 10 years, and he's going to be competing for a championship multiple times. And listen, I know for Giannis, it's not like he's winning it every year, but here's what you're not saying about Giannis. You're not saying that he's out of the top 5 in the NBA. That's a really good comment. That's a really good comp, too. Okay, let me look at a couple more of these here. Both Bron and AD never met our expectations. I don't know if I agree with that. I think LeBron met my expectations. I didn't think LeBron would still be playing. I didn't think LeBron would be playing 8 years for the Lakers. I thought he'd play 4 or 5 years. LeBron was still the best player on the Lakers up until before Luka got here. LeBron won a championship with the Lakers, helped get Anthony Davis over here. I don't know. I think Bron lifted his weight. I really do. Maybe you could say one more championship run. I don't know. I think Bron lifted his weight. Took the franchise, when he came to the Lakers, we all know where the Lakers were before he got here. It's an interesting comment. But let's just say this. Bron met my expectations much more than Anthony Davis did. Bron's still playing. Last year, he was still second team All-NBA. I mean, still making it happen. I had high expectations for LeBron, but I know he was also coming here when the franchise was in disarray. Had it made the playoffs, would they go 5-6 years without making the playoffs? It's a very interesting take. But I think Bron definitely met my expectations more than Anthony Davis did. You were getting Bron at the end of his career. You were getting AD in his prime. Bron was here before AD. Bron's here after Anthony Davis. It's an interesting conversation. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.